let's record the class 2 so that the process of dry run is understood only when you definitely understand the process. And secondly, when you practice it yourself multiple number of times. And for that, I'm keeping this recording handy so that you can go through that if you have any issues that, okay, how do we proceed, right? Keeping that handy, I move on to the share screen. And here I first come down to the questions where we were working. And in that, we first start with this particular question, print the sum of first n natural numbers. So I have to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. That means, first of all, I don't know how many, that is up till where I have to calculate. So that is something which I have to accept from the user. Suppose he says 5. So I want the summation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 natural numbers. Right? Natural number starts from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what do we have to do? We have to take a container which will be actually storing that summation. Right? The sum value. Now in one go, machine also can't do it. Nobody can do that thing in one go. How do we make it do that? We take a container called as sum. Okay, any other, that's just name, any name you can take. Supposing I'm saying it's a sum. Now, what is the first thing I add to it? I add 1 to it. So first I add 1 and the sum becomes 1. Next time I generate 2. So first I generated 1, then I added 1 to my sum. Now next is I have to generate 2. That is my next number I have to generate. And then add this 2 to my existing sum. So this was already 1. 1 plus 2 becomes 3. Next step is you generate the next number. What is my next number? 3. I generated the next number required. Have I reached 5, which is my n limit, upper limit? No. So I continue. Now this 3 gets added to the existing sum, which is 1 plus 2, already 3. So 3 plus 3, 6. Next number I generate 4. Already here 6. 6 plus 4. That makes it 10. Now 5. 5 plus 10. That is 15. Okay. So the process which continues in the loop is generate the number which you want to add it to my sum. Then again generate the next number, add it to my sum. Again generate the third number, add it to my sum. Isn't it? That's how the process continues. Now, how do I generate the numbers and how do I add it to my sum? 2-step process. It's not a very complex process. For generating the numbers from 1 to n, what have I learned? What I know in Python, what is the process available to generate numbers continuously on its own? That's my range function. So range function will help me generate numbers from 1 to n, and 1 to n will actually be taken care of 1 to n minus 1. So I have to give 1 to n plus 1 in order to generate numbers for 1 to n. This we understand, I hope. So if I want to generate 1 to 5, my range should be range brackets open 1, 6, 1. That last one is optional. Right? So 1 to 6 when you will give, he will generate the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4 up till 5. So that is one process. Then obviously I have to put that thing in the loop. So one by one, please generate and give it to that one container which will pick up the value from the range function and add it to my sum. Okay. So let's see the code and try to do the dry run to exactly see the process of the entire thing happening. Okay. Now here you see this. Just a sec, I'll just reduce the space gap so that you can see everything in one screen. Right. So here I have, first thing, of course, I have to accept the value of n. Up till where do you want to add? I want to add my numbers till whatever user gives me, right? Then I take another variable where I should be holding. I should give him a temporary place to hold the summation because he's adding. I've told the process. First 1 is generated, 1 is added, then 2 is generated, 2 is added. So I need a place where he will keep on adding the sum. And the sum gets added up one by one. So I need a variable where I'm actually calculating the summation. So sum. And initially, I put that value to 0 because nothing is there. So sum is 0. But when I generate 1, I will go and add it to that 0 because the container has to have some value. No? So by default, we put it a 0. Now, this is the statement which will generate my numbers. For I in range 1, 2, n plus 1. N is 5, 5 plus 1, 6. So 1 to 6, please generate my numbers. And this will be applicable for these two statements because loop body is only this. Keep on adding it to my sum. Sorry. My numbers are generated and you keep on adding it to my sum. Okay. Once you have generated all the numbers and added them to my sum, then I will come out of the loop and print my sum. And hence I will get my answer. Okay. Now, whether I've written everything correctly or not, in order to understand that, we do a pen and paper check that how is the code working step by step. This is a very, very significant process when you actually want to understand how a code executes. If any code is given to you, it is part of your questions also. That please generate the output for this. How do you do it? You don't have the machine in the exam paper. So you have to do a step-by-step process on the pen and paper and then give the output. Machine is not there in the theory paper of exam, right? So that actually enables you to check out if your answer is correct as per the machine, you know that you've understood the working of the code. If your answer is incorrect, then that means you have not understood the working of the loop. You have not understood the working of the code. Have you got the purpose of the dry run? I hope everybody has got the purpose of this dry run process. Why do I need to do something called as dry run? Right? Now, what is the process actually? In exam paper also, you are required to do it. You will make a small table-like structure with pencil in your exam paper. And no need to do it with scale, just a normal rough kind of a tabular structure. And then for whatever identifiers, variables you have created, you will mark every column for that. So one is my n, another one is my sum, another one is my I. Okay. These are the containers I'm working with, and one more column I'm keeping for my final output. Okay. Now I start. I start by executing the first line of the code. The first line of the code will execute, say, please give me a value of n. Now you will have to assume a value of n and then check the code. That let the user enter. We do in maths also, na? Let the value of n be 2. And then you start the code. Start writing that whatever proof and all you used to do. So let the value of n be 6 in this case. Okay. What is the value of sum initially? 0. So memory status of all my variables is looking like this. N has got the value 6, sum is 0. I have assigned the value of sum as 0 here. And now I. So I find as a part of my for loop. It's the for loop counter variable. What will be the first value of I? So I gets the first value from this range. Now what will this range generate? Keep it temporarily handy here for yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the numbers with my range will generate. So n plus 1, 5 plus 1, 6, up till 6, not including 6. So up till 6. Just keep it handy. You want to include that here itself. And what did the range generate in one go, and then step by step the values are being picked up. You can do that also. I can just insert a column here. Yes. And I say, okay, output of, what is the output of my range? The output of my range here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First, keep this thing handy. Okay. So you know that what all values will be picked up by I. Right. So what is the first value of I? Quickly, what is the first value of I which he picks up? Come on. What's the first value of I he picks up? 1, the first range value which is generated, right? So I picks up first value as 1, right? Then colon, so I know that my loop body is going to start, so I reach here. Now, how do I solve this expression? Sum is equal to sum plus I. In the questions, in the exam paper, it could be written as sum plus equal to I. You know, that's the shortcut way of writing, right? Sum plus equal to I. Sorry. That is sum is equal to sum plus I. Now, equal to's right side will be solved first. Sum plus I. What is sum plus I? 0 plus 1. That is 1. Put this value to sum. So, right to left, the assignment will happen. And then my sum will get the value as what? 1. The first number got added and stored. Okay, nothing else to be done in the loop body. He goes up. Where does he go? He goes to this place. The range function basically. Generates the next number. Is it less than 6? Yes. So he generates 2. I picks the value 2. Then comes inside. Sum plus I. Please look at the process carefully. The dry run thing has to be done in the paper. So you should know step by step how am I executing the code. Now sum plus I again will be done. Sum plus I means this 1 plus 2. That is the current status of my variables. Because when you wrote this 2, this I got actually overwritten. So technically in your copy, you will be doing a cut here. This got cut and hence I got the new value. Okay. Now sum plus I. So 1 plus 2 becomes 3. The next value which sum gets is 3. So now I added 1 also to my sum and I added 2 also to my sum. Dono values added, right? So 1 plus 2, current value of sum becomes 3. Now I again move up. Next value range generates is 3. Now 3 gets the value. That value is stored by my I now. So 2 being cut in the copy, you'll do like this. 2 being cut and I write a 3 here. Now 3 plus 3. So it comes here. Sum plus I. 3 plus 3. Sum becomes 6. So 3 you will cut and you'll write 6. Okay. Now I move up. Again, the range function picks up the next number. What is the next number it picks up? 4. Because up till 3 we have done. You will keep on cutting this also so that it doesn't confuse you. So next number I pick up is 4. Now before I do that, I will have to insert more rows to that. So always keep little space for your dry run. Below that, don't write anything so that you can insert your extra rows also. Because in one go, we at times are not able to imagine how many rows of the table it will take. Okay. So here I go saying I generated 4 now. So I will cut this 3 and he will assume the next value as 4. Now sum plus I, 6 plus 4, 10. Please go and store this in sum. So 6 becomes 10. Right? Again it goes up, generates 5 now. So 5 is picked up by I, stored in I. Now sum plus I, 10 plus 5, 15. New value of sum becomes 15. Okay. Again it goes up. Again it goes up. Mind it. Again it goes up. Okay. Generates 6. Checks the condition. Is it that I have reached n plus 1? Yes, I have reached n plus 1. So stop. And the loop stops. It comes out of the loop now. And what is it supposed to do? A print statement. Hence, I get my output. So my output is actually 15. Okay, one more thing. It has generated 6. So I gets the value 6 actually. So final value of I is 6 when he is out of the loop. Because for 6, he was not supposed to execute the loop as per the range function. 6 will be generated, checked, condition will become false, and then he is going to terminate the loop. Anybody please take a click of this. The only thing is that this symbol, this particular symbol, just put it here. Okay. Please take a click of this. Ma'am, if we do not write sum is equal to 0, what difference will it make? Acha. That you might write yourself. Actually, by default, when you do not write, I'll tell that sum is equal to 0. The first time he's supposed to do sum plus I, he'll say whose sum. So that becomes a never actually. And the first time, so I have to give him the value of sum. Na? Next time onwards, he will automatically have the value of sum because I assigned something into it. But I need the first value of sum to perform this operation for the first time. That is why the sum of is equal to 0 is very, very essential. If I don't give it, it goes wrong. I hope you have taken the click of this so that I can remove all that thing. Yes, somebody was speaking something. Sorry, I interrupted.
Ma'am, can you explain the last part?
Which
about
last part?
6. Ma'am, we were talking about 6, number 6.
Okay, see what happens. It's basic simple cheese. What happens is that when this fellow is generating the numbers, right? Range is being picked up. So I gets 1, then gets 2, then gets 3, then gets 4, then gets 5, then gets 6. And every time he is generating, okay? So I gets 1, he checks. Have I reached n plus 1? This is the stop value of the range, right? So have I reached n plus 1? No. So, okay. The loop is, the condition is true. I come inside. Again, he goes, I is equal to 2. Picks up the next value. 2 is 2 less than n plus 1. Yes. So it comes inside. Again goes, makes it next value automatically because of the step value. Actually, let me write the step value. So what happens is that this is like I is initially taken as 1. Checked for the condition, is it less than n plus 1? Yes. So the loop continues. Now from here, he will reach the step value. So I gets 2 because of that. I mean, 2 is generated. I gets 2 and then he checks the condition. Is it less than 6? Yes, it is less than 6. So continues. Again, next he goes, makes it 3. Checks, continues, checks, continues, checks, continues like that. So what happens is this start value is executed only once. After that, he will never go to the start value when I'm using the range in the loop. And the step value will not be executed in the first time. Mind it. 1 comma n plus 1. So this is the stop value and this is the step value. First time start is picked up, checked for the stop value. If it is less than that, condition true, loop continues. I mean, the loop is started first time. Next time onwards, it goes to the step value. Step value means increase the value out of this 1 step value means increase the value by 1. I increase the value by 1. Then check. Is it less than my n plus 1? Yes, it is less than my n plus 1. Good. Continue. So he did not go to this one anymore. So start executes only once. In that step, step is not executed. Next time onwards, step is executed, condition being checked, and he continues the loop. Start is not being executed. That's how the loop works. Okay. I will pick up the value of start, check the condition, condition true, very good, enters the loop, moves up, increments, checks the condition, okay, continues in the loop. Okay, so start executes only once, and that first step is not executed, step value. Next time onwards, step is executed, he does not go and touch the start at all. Because I dobara se 1 nahi banna, you were seeing it here. I is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. That means start value is only executing once. And first time, he start, it picked up I as 1 and then it immediately did 2 before he entered this loop body. No, he's not doing that also. So first time, start is executing, condition is executing. Next time onwards, step is executing, condition is executing. Start is not executing. That's how the loop is working. You can write these small things in your writing copy basically. And this dry run needs to be done in the copy and submitted to me for all the questions I'm doing. Best, do it yourself, do not copy. You'll do mistake, no problem. That's how you learn. You'll copy, then it's of no use. Okay, let's try out the next code. We are a little short of time. I'll complete this dry run and send it to you, but let's try the next one. Sum of first n even natural numbers. Now the code becomes very simple. How do I generate the first n even natural numbers and calculate the sum? Summation statement, sum is equal to sum plus I remains same. Yes or no? If here I want to write a code which should only add 2, 4, 6, 8 up till the limit given, what change should I have to make? Tell me. Here,
Ma'am, we will change the range.
We will change the range. Excellent. Rest of the code remains same. So range has to generate even numbers. For that, what do I have to do? I have to start from 2, whatever limit he has given, plus 1, of course, no change in that, and increment it by 2. If it would have been odd numbers, start from 1, increment by 2. I hope that point is clear. The basic sum of numbers remains same. Loop mein wo to koi change nahi hoga. Range of values you are generating, that will change. And that I hope you understand. We have done enough examples of those. Okay. So that's how we try doing the next question. Sum of n odd natural numbers. Same working, but with a difference of range. Now we will do product. Product of first 5, we can have it as n also, that we accept from the user and work on 5 and work on that input. Okay, let us try this question along with the dry run so that there is something different to understand also and we are able to work it out better. Okay, then I'll come to the other things I've written there. Okay, I missed out this question. Okay, fine. I'll add up this 11th question here. I'll just copy this part. And let's do the dry run quickly. Now, product of n numbers or product of first 5 numbers, whatever you want to do. Here it's 5 numbers only. Let me have it as 5 itself. Okay. I know 5 numbers have to be generated. I have to multiply those numbers. So I have to generate the 5 numbers. 5 numbers means 1 to 5. I have to generate. So range becomes 1, 5 plus 1. That is 6. You know 5, so you automatically write 6. No need to have the input. Okay, this line I'm currently leaving. So here I'm going to just say n plus 1. Instead of that, I'll say 6. So 1 to 6 will generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my number generation is done. Now what I have to do, I have to multiply every number I generate. Right? So this becomes, instead of plus, multiplication. अब मुझे कोड में गलती बताओ. There is something wrong in the code. I generate 1 and I then do 0 into 1. 0 into 1 is 0. I generate 2 and then I do 0 into 2. It's a 0. I generate 3.
In the first line, sum would be equal to 1.
Excellent. Excellent. Because when it is product, your initial product has to be 1 because this will not affect the final output. Isn't it? 1 से multiply करा अगर मैंने 1 को दोबारा से तो ठीक है. 1 से के साथ answer is same. Similarly, sum में 0 क्यों लेते हैं? Because when I add something to 0, my actual data is not changing. Answer is same. Right? So for any kind of a summation question, your initial value should be 0. For any kind of a product question where you're ultimately multiplying the values, your initial value should be 1. Variable name doesn't matter. You want to change it to P or product or something else, it is fine. You want to keep it to sum only, it's fine. But if you feel sum will confuse you, then change it to P or product or PROD, whatever you feel like. That's just a variable name for the machine. It doesn't matter. For him, it is content. That's it. Okay. Now let's quickly do the dry run for this. So how do I do the dry run? I first make the table, then put my variables, whichever my memory is going to be used for. So first is P, the other one is I. There's nothing else. And here I have, let me have the range also. Step by step. Range 1, 6 will generate what? and I have my output. Okay, so P is equal to 1. First statement is saying that P is equal to 1. Range he is generating, first number being generated is 1. Is it less than 6? Yes. I picks up the value 1. Now I'm not writing all the values together. Let me put it step by step so that it's more clear to you. First he generates 1, sends it to I. He comes inside. P into I, right side of the expression solved first. P into I will be done first. 1 into 1. 1 again. Stores into P. So final value of P is as of now again 1. So this step is actually unnecessarily because you've taken the first value as 1. You can easily start the value from 2. But even if you do it from 1, it's okay. I mean, there's no harm in that. Next, he goes up, increments the value in the range, and it sees the increment. Okay, it's 1. So the next number range generates is 2. Because increment is by default 1. Even if I don't write it. When if I write, I would write here 1 only. So I gets the value 2. Now P into I, 1 into 2. 1 into 2 is 2. So P gets the value 2. Please keep on cutting the previous values. In the memory, it is getting overwritten. So you don't really get the reference of the previous value. So when you do it in the with the pencil itself, you are using, keep on cutting the previous value the moment you write the new value. Again, it goes up to range, increments, makes it 3, gives the value to I. It's still less than 6, so I continue. Now 3 into 2, 6. Again goes up, range picks up the value 4, less than 6, yes. Picks up and gives it to 4. 6 into 4, 24. So new value of P is 24. Okay. Now here I need some few lines. Let's do that. Now next value generated when the range is 5, still less than 6, condition is true. I gets the value 5. Again, P into I, 24 5s are 120, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So P is 120. Okay, again goes up, increments the value by 1, gives it to I, checks the condition. Have I reached the condition? Is it less than 6? It is not less than 6. Condition false, loop terminates. Okay, that step is done. Because then only he knows, na? वो तो increment करके फिर check करेगा कि have I reached? That is why last step is done. So it's not less than 6 anymore. It is equal to 6. The condition will not be executed in this case. Hence, it is out of the loop. Once it is out of the loop, you can see that the indent has changed. The next thing to be done here is print P. So here I come and give my output as 120. You can write the output here also because he's getting only one thing, but just writing it here means that output has come to you after the execution of all these steps. So output is 120. Okay. Now, when you actually get in the paper, one is that you get output questions like this kind of a code is given and they show you and they ask you, please give the output, assuming the value of n, if n is there as 5 or 7 or 8, whatever, that they'll give you. Like here, it is giving, it is already given to you, na? That's 6 tak karna. So it will be given to you. But there it is compulsory to show the dry run like this, because what happens sometimes, even this 24 into 5, by mistake, I do 130 and you wrote the answer as 130. Okay. Then we can do and give you a step marking. Here multiplication where the child has made a mistake. In the board exam also, that's the process. And hence I give out of 2, I give you 1.5. Because it's a calculation mistake. Step by step, he's done the range correct, he's done the I correct, he's done the P correct almost, just a multiplication mistake. So you get 1.5 out of 2. But if you do not show this thing and you just write the answer rough pick, turn the page at the back, basic आदत होती है हमको कि वहां पे जाके we do the dry run. Do not do it. Do it in front. It's like working notes and it is to be done in front. Because your examiner should see what you've done. Okay. So that is one kind of question. Then there's one other kind of question which is possible, that is how many times the loop is executed. Okay. This is something tricky. You will not say 6 times. Because loop is executed in terms of how the value or the work you've done has changed. One से one हुआ, once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times. This loop is executing 5 times and not 6 times. It did become 6, but the loop is executed 5 times. How has the value changed as per the loop body? If you have a print statement inside the loop, then it's very simple to easy to say how many times loop executed. Aap execute karo, see how many prints are there, and you can easily write it. Okay. And there are sometimes that they ask you, what is the final value of this sum, this I, this P, something. So that way also you have to do the dry run to get the final value. Whether it's output or it's this or it's this or it's this. So these are the 4 category of questions. Of course, first is that you're asked to write a program. When you're asked to write a program, dry run is not compulsory. That you can do in the rough to check whether your code is correct or not. Like sometimes by mistake, if I would have written here 0, the very first time I was multiply, I would realize, I have to make it 1. Because if I multiply, keep on multiplying by 0, I'll get my answer as 0 finally. So that dry run is here for your understanding. But for the rest of the things, question number 2, 3, 4, the dry run is compulsorily to be shown, not to be done in the rough paper, rough part of your answer sheet. It has to be shown in the actual answer. Okay. I stop here and take the attendance first, because I know you must be having lots and lots of doubts, which I cannot cover it now today. I'll have to do it tomorrow only.